What's most obvious in the story of the rich man and Lazarus is that a great change occurs in death. The end of earthly life and the beginning of eternal life for both of them, for both the rich man and Lazarus, results in a great reversal. Take the rich man first. Dressed in fine purple linen, the most expensive of clothing. Purple dye was the most expensive dye in the ancient world. And feasting every day, having a big Sunday lunch every single day. And he's inside, finds himself inside. But death causes a great reversal, and for him, comfortableness and self-sufficiency is turned into a lonely torment. He's moved from being inside to being outside. Lazarus, the poor man Lazarus, is powerless, too weak to walk, too weak to work. He's just laying there. And somewhat of a revolting figure, covered in sores, the dogs going up and licking his sores. And yearning so much, not even to eat magnificently every day, not even just to have one hearty meal, but just to eat the scraps, to eat what's thrown in the rubbish from the rich man's table. But a great reversal occurs. His lonely suffering is reversed, and he now in heaven is surrounded by the angels and comforted by Abraham. He who was outside is now inside. Christ often points to how this sort of reversal will be a key part of the experience of death. Take the Beatitudes and the Woes, for example, earlier on in Luke's Gospel. He says, "Blessed are you who hunger now, you will have your full." He says, "Woe to you that are now full, you will go hungry." The great reversal that's going to happen. And earlier on in the Gospel, Our Lady's great Magnificat, her hymn of praise, praising the work of God. And what is she praising? His great work of reversal. She says, "My soul magnifies the Lord because he has cast the mighty from their thrones and raised up the lowly. He has filled the starving with good things, and he has sent the rich away empty." Whilst the reversal at the point of death and judgment is very obvious, it's also important to note what hasn't changed, what has stayed the same. On earth, Lazarus lived at the rich man's gate. He lived at a physical divide. He was on one side, the rich man was on the other. And the rich man never went beyond that gate to reach out to Lazarus. The rich man never crossed that divide and barrier to care for him. The rich man never opened the gate and let Lazarus inside his home. But he lived by that barrier. He lived by that separation. He chose an inherently selfish life. The rich man chose an inherently selfish life where he was cut off from even those lying at his gate, obsessed by himself. It's very, very interesting to note. The rich man finds himself in torment after death, but what commandment has he broken? He could say, "I'm a good man, haven't murdered anybody, haven't told any big, huge lies, haven't committed adultery. I'm a pretty good person. I'm going all right." But he's become so self-absorbed. He's become so comfortable in his riches, so comfortable in looking after himself, there is no longer any room in his heart for anybody else. His comfortableness has made him deaf and blind. His earthly life determines his eternal life. Nothing changes. God respects his freedom in choosing to live this way and will not force him. God will not force him to live a different sort of life after death. He allows him to choose his eternal life. And so nothing changes. The earthly gate that divided Lazarus and the rich man, the earthly gate that proved a barrier for a relationship with them and for love between them, now in eternity becomes a great gulf. Nothing has changed. The barrier remains. And the rich man dug that gulf by his own choices. Dug that gulf with his own freedom. He calls out in the afterlife, "Father Abraham, send Lazarus to me to help me. Send Lazarus to me to be a means of salvation. I'm in so much pain, just even a little bit of comfort. Just send him to me." God had already sent Lazarus to him. He sent him to him on earth, and he ignored him. He was already sent to him for his salvation. In this sense, our eternal destination won't be much of a surprise. Our place in heaven or hell will not be a shock or something out of nowhere or something that doesn't have anything to do with our life now. But our place in heaven or hell will follow the pattern of our life here. Will follow the pattern of our choices here. Will be a result of our freedom here. Eternal life can always seem like something off in the future, something to worry about later, something that's a little while off. It's serious, it's important, but it's not that pressing that it should encroach on my everyday consciousness. But the fact that the rich man's life did not change in eternity tells us no, eternal life is here and now. Eternal life is a pressing issue today. Eternal life is an important issue every single time we have the opportunity to use our freedom. Because each time we use our freedom, God is giving us the opportunity either to go across that gate and reach out in love and begin living the communion of heaven now, or he's giving us the opportunity to keep digging that gulf between ourselves and between us and God, with each and every single act of human freedom. It's here and now in our choices. We yearn for the salvation of the poor. We yearn for our own salvation, that justice may be done in eternity, that we be given the gifts of God. Of what we hunger and thirst for, we shall be given, and those things shall be reversed. But we also move forward now, knowing we're free, knowing that nothing will really change in eternity. It'll be the same sort of life we're living now.